Here's a personal collection of why I'm leaving America. I think that America is on a self-destructive course, and I don't want to be around to see it. There's a lot of issues going on, and all these videos are going to explain each one of them.
How is everyone affording to live?
Can somebody explain to me in crayon-eating terms why I make over 3 times the federal minimum wage and I cannot afford to live?
I can't afford a home. I don't feel safe. Groceries are way too expensive. My entire neighborhood is filled with homeless people. Best I can do is ban TikTok.
Does anyone else feel like they're absolutely fucking drowning financially?
Gen Z is the first generation in America that has absolutely no purpose or meaning in life. This is why they have terms like doomers. You know, this is why you ask them, hey, go buy a house, get married, have kids. And they say, what's the point? Inflation is going to make it impossible to retire.
So I'm walking around Costco here and I'm noticing these prices. For example, these madras lentils, $15.99. I bought those a year ago for $6.99. I keep getting told that we got, 6-7% inflation. You gotta be kidding me. Let's look at what else we got going on here. We literally bought this chicken broth, $5.69, 2 months ago. Dang, this is the flour we were buying for $5.99 last year.
Illinois residents will see an increase at the pump starting next month. On July 1st, the automatic motor fuel tax will rise.
You said the president was responsible for gas prices coming down. Is the president responsible for gas prices going up?
The California government is now planning on raising the cost of gas again.
Happening now, California's gasoline tax has gone up again. Starting today, July 1st, prices increased by 4 cents a gallon. Blamed the annual increase in the state's gas tax. The money will be used to fix and upgrade our roads. Tonight, the average price for regular unleaded in Los Angeles is $4.90 a gallon.
America's about to collapse. Whoever doesn't think that, I'm sorry to believe, but it's about to go down.
Dollar Tree closing 600 stores this year. CVS closing 900 stores through the end of this year. Walgreens closing 150 stores. Outback Steakhouse has already closed 40 of its restaurants. UPS is cutting 12,000 jobs in 2024. Citigroup cutting 20,000 positions as well. eBay, why not? 1,000 jobs lost there. Microsoft cutting 1,900 positions. Expedia cutting 1,500. Cisco cutting 4,000. Apple cutting 600. It's entertainment too. Regal Cinemas closing 429 locations. Kroger's grocery store chain shutting down 413 stores. It's not affordable to be in retail anymore.
We are mass poisoning this generation of kids. We saw this explosion of neurodevelopmental disorders. So ADD, ADHD, speech delay, language delay, tics, sleep disorders, Tourette's syndrome, narcolepsy, ASD, autism, all these diseases that prior to 1989, we never heard of them. Right. We didn't know anybody who had them. And then all the autoimmune diseases suddenly exploded that year. Juvenile diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, these exotic diseases like Crohn's disease and lupus. Suddenly everybody, all these kids got these, are sick. And the allergic diseases suddenly appeared. Again in 1989, or in that area, early 90s, peanut allergies. I had 11 siblings, 70 cousins. I didn't know anybody with a food allergy. Why do 5 of my kids have these anaphylactic allergies? Why are there EpiPens in every classroom? Why are there albuterol inhalers? Or, asthma exploded. I had a brother who had asthma, and his doctor told him there will never be a cure for this disease because it's so rare that no research will ever study it. Now 1 out of every 8 black kids has asthma. So what happened? Something happened. There's no other country that has this. We have the highest chronic disease burden in the world. Why are we so sick?
Looking right now towards my future, and I'm really having a hard time really seeing myself being able to do the same things like my parents have done, such as buy a house at a young age and whatnot. Do you think there's going to be any change in the housing market?
It's a great question. So 4 years ago, the average income to be able to buy a home in this country was $59,000 a year. Now it requires $106,000 a year to buy a home. You have been robbed by the DC political class. and then big corporations like BlackRock come in and purchase these homes and then rent them back to you. Well, I want 3 very basic things for every one of you. I don't care about your politics. I want you to be able to get married, have kids, and own a home. Those 3 things should be in the very basic social contract.
I can't do this anymore. I'm moving out of America in the next 3 weeks by any, and I mean any, means necessary.
These are 3 reasons why I'm moving out of the U.S. Number 1 is way of living.
I'm this close to spending that last $400 on a one-way ticket.
Yes. Book a one-way ticket out of the U.S. if you are trying to save money. If you're an American and thinking about leaving the U.S. just like I did, listen up. There are so many reasons why I decided to leave the U.S. and why I will never move back. Starters, the food in the U.S. is pumped full of preservatives and antibiotics. U.S. allows chemicals and other substances that are banned in other countries in their food. Since leaving the U.S., I'm able to eat organic food straight from farmers markets for a reasonable price. Leads me to reason number 2. It's extremely expensive living in the US. With inflation and rising house prices, I honestly don't see it getting any better.
Now that I left the United States, this is the main thing that I realized. The United States be bullshitting us. They be literally capping, they be lying, they be fabricating, they literally lie to us our whole damn life.
Good morning, bad news. As of 2024, millennials and Gen Zers have less money than any other generation at any other point in US history. A new report shows that 3 out of 4 millennials and 3 out of 5 Gen Zers are living paycheck to paycheck while saving almost nothing, with no economic ability to buy a house or start a family or even cover a minor medical emergency.
Come on, pal, tell me something I don't know.
That's because over the past 2 years, corporations have created hyperinflation on top of pandemic inflation through blatant price gouging to generate record-breaking profits, which are subsidized by historically low real wages, because since the Reagan administration, baby boomers have been leveraging their children's financial futures to make themselves extremely wealthy and create an economic system with the singular goal of increasing corporate profits at the expense of paying workers a living wage, thus ending the possibility of middle-class mobility, which is why you can't afford a place to live, food to eat, gas in your car, or seeing a doctor, because if you were to have more money to improve your life, corporations couldn't use it for executive bonuses, stock buybacks, insider trading, or political lobbying. And they're the ones who get to decide what the extra money that you earned for them is spent on, and spoiler alert, it's not you.
I think the American dream is, or what they're trying to push the American dream as, is you work all your time to barely afford your rental, because most people are not going to be able to afford homes. They're going to have to rent. And the rents are almost just as much as what it would cost as a mortgage.
Do you think that the American dream is dead? We cannot use the same playbook our parents gave us to live life today, right? We've been told this American dream. You work hard, you study good, you go to college, you get a good job, you climb the corporate ladder, and you will be able to buy that white picket fence home, go on 2 vacations a year, and have your 2 kids and a golden retriever. It doesn't work like that anymore.
This is the biggest realization I had when I left the US. We live in the fucking matrix here. If you feel like you've been indoctrinated to be a fucking slave, it's because it's true. If your gut is telling you that this is not what life is supposed to be, it's because it's true. I promise you, all you need to do is buy a fucking flight. Get the fuck out of the US. Don't move, right? Just fucking go on like a 2-week trip, just so you can open your fucking mind. Because the reality of it is, we've all been indoctrinated since kids.
19,000 homes, not apartments, homes in the metro are owned by 3 companies. That's nearly 1 in every 9 houses up for rent, and some entire suburban neighborhoods where corporations own it all.
We literally are starving. We can't afford milk. We can't afford eggs. We can't afford our rent. We can't afford our prescriptions. We can't afford insulin. We can't afford healthcare. We can't afford our education.
It's just so frustrating that we did everything they told us to do. We went to school, we got educated, we worked hard, we did everything they told us to do, and then when we're actually out in the world, they want to charge us $1,800 for a 1-bedroom apartment. That really ain't shit.
Can we just talk about like how effed up the American healthcare system and insurance is for a second?
Guys, the American medical system is fucked.
This comment is incredibly ironic. You're right. Our healthcare system in America is completely broken and we need reform across the board.
The American healthcare system is truly doomed.
Honestly, at this point, I don't even want to get rich to even be rich and live luxurious. I literally want to get rich so I can get the fuck out this country. I cannot stand it here anymore. Everything about this country makes me make my fucking stomach bubble the fuck up.
They want you to be either liberal or conservative, Democrat or Republican. And they'll make you feel insane if maybe your political views are more down the middle.
No, because fuck you, America, for making me pay, or for making me work 4 fucking jobs! 4 jobs! While I'm in college in rural fucking Tennessee and I can barely pay my own fucking rent.
Our landlord increased our rent by $7,000 per month.
I raise rents on my tenants almost every single year, but you don't see my tenants complaining. Last year I raised the rents on almost all of my tenants by $300.
You know how my landlord raised my rent to $4,000, so we got priced out and had to move?
Our lease is up at the end of this month, and we just found out that our rent is going up by $250 per month.
I just got my new lease agreement because my lease ends next month and freaking out a little bit. Every single year, my rent has gone up by $100.
I just got another rent increase.
Rent increases alone have outperformed the stock market for 40 years.
I don't want to live here anymore. I live in America, and the sense of dread that I feel living here for the next 30, 40 years is so bad, you guys.
In 2024, do you ever stop to think about the fact that we are being preyed upon by a parasitic corporate class that keeps raising the prices arbitrarily on goods we need to buy, like eggs and bread? In fact, everything on our grocery list. Past the point of inflation, as we keep learning from juries and court documents and bombshell reports and earnings calls by CEOs to their shareholders where they declare record profits. Meanwhile, these same corporations, despite said record profits, don't have the money to raise their employees' paychecks and in fact need to lay off dozens, hundreds, thousands of employees because there is no steeper business cost than human life. So the wealth gap keeps climbing as fewer and fewer people are able to maintain savings accounts, and we're all asked by politicians to anticipate retiring at the age of 70, 75, 80 as the middle class entirely evaporates.
Y'all, we are in a crazy recession, and I don't think anyone knows how bad it has been.
33% of all Americans are holding a second job right now to pay their bills. And that is the highest level since World War II ended. The U.S. is in a recession, firmly 2 years of recession, but we don't feel it because we're told that's not happening.
I'm 18 years old and I escaped America.
Hello everyone, part 2 of living in Mexico. So we rented the Airbnb for 1 month while we figured out what to do. We were trying to enjoy while at the same time figuring out life here. Joseph tried a real coco for the first time in a beach town called Celestún. Then Joseph bought a beautiful bochito, our family came to visit, MJ gave his first steps, we celebrated his birthday with cupcakes, and we went to Chichen Itza to explore the Mayan ruins.
Hi, my name is Melanie. I'm 26 years old and I just moved to Mexico from Chicago, and I don't speak Spanish yet. Just a disclaimer, I am a first-generation American and both my parents lived here in Mexico.
750 days since I moved to Mexico, this is what I've learned so far. If you want to make the move, it cost me for a family of 3 about $10,000 USD. We sold everything that we had in the US, from our car to furniture, because there are fully furnished apartments or houses here in Mexico.
Hi, my name's Christina and I moved my family from Canada to Mexico 2 years ago now, and here are 5 reasons why we decided to move to Mexico.
I get so tired of people who've never been to Mexico who's still stuck in that small town saying it's dangerous. You guys never been here, so I'm going to show you guys.
My family and I moved from America to Mexico almost a month ago. The reason we moved is because my husband can run his business online anywhere in the world as long as there's Wi-Fi.
So I've been living in Cabo for 2 years now, and I absolutely love it compared to the US. I'm originally from Georgia.
Mexico is offering a 4-year temporary residency, and its conditions are the most remarkable I've seen, because you only need an expired tourist visa with proof that you entered Mexico to qualify. And this regularization program can only be applied for in certain immigration offices within Mexico, such as Mexico City and Playa del Carmen.
In order to live in Mexico, both me and my husband both work remotely from home.
What is it like to give birth in Mexico as a foreigner, and how much is it? Private hospitals are very modern and well equipped.
This is what my room looked like. My husband and I spent one day here after the delivery. 3 meals were included for me, and my hungry husband had to go out find food for himself. My concern was the language barrier and possible miscommunications, since my Spanish is not that good yet. Also, my intention was to give natural birth, but I was worried that a doctor would push me into a C-section because it's extremely common in Mexico. Both the doctors and women prefer it here, even when it's not necessary. But luckily, none of my concerns materialized. The staff was extremely caring, friendly, and supportive, and my doctor did an excellent job of providing emotional support during the delivery process. But I sometimes felt like they were doing checks on me too frequently, distracting me from my contractions. So overall, I would rate my experience of giving birth in Mexico an 8 out of 10, and we paid around $3,500 for it.